Hi, guys. You're here. You showed up, and so did I. I'm so glad you decided to show up today for day 11. And you know what? Showing up every day and putting some time in drawing is really 90% of the battle, is 90% of the effort. So you're here. I'm glad you are. I had a travel day yesterday coming back from vacation, and there was weather and delays, and it was a full, long day. So I actually recorded the drawing part of today's video on the plane. So another plane drawing, another example of how you can draw really anywhere, anytime, especially using with supplies, art tools to go with you. You can basically show up and draw anytime. So today is one of my favorite drawings, and I'm going to talk you through it as we get going. But what you're going to need is something to draw with, a pencil. You're going to need a pencil. You're also going to need something to draw on, so a piece of paper or your sketchbook. And you're going to need a paper bag, like a lunch bag type thing. It doesn't have to be brown, but a paper bag that has some dimension to it that we're going to use in today's drawing. And if you really don't have that, you look high and low and you don't have any paper bags, you can use a piece of paper and it will work for this thing. So we're going to jump into it. Hope you have what you need, and I'm going to talk you through the video and we're going to go from there. Okay, so here I am on a plane sitting on the tarmac because the airport I was flying to was closed from a snowstorm. So I had light, I had some time, and I'm going to do a quick drawing. It was about 10-minute drawing. And so you can see here, this is really funny, but I want you to use a paper bag, and I used a barf bag from a plane. And kids, if you don't know what that is, good. You can ask your parents what that is and what it's for, if you really want to know. But I had something to draw, so I'm doing it. It's perfect timing because it is pretty much my favorite use of line variation that we worked on yesterday with the pop can. And how this works is you're going to use line variation to show texture and depth in a object that's kind of an everyday object, and I think that make for really beautiful drawings. So what I'm doing right now is using my skills I've used before of relationships of size and distance, angles and shape to kind of very light searching lines, draw in the bag, the outline of the bag, and then just basic shape details. And from there, I'm going to start using line variation to carefully draw in this bag. And what I want you to do is very similar, is basically what I'm doing, which is where the bag comes together in tight creases to be use heavy drawing, and where it's goes a line goes by itself for a while and not there's no other creases. It's like a straight line. There's not a lot of straight lines in this crumpled up bag. There probably isn't on yours either. But where there's a line that has a kind of straight and by itself line, you're going to go very light. And in the corners and in the spots where it's there's several creases coming together, that's where you're going to use dark pencil lines. So now if you follow this kind of plan for this drawing of what I just described, you will end up with a really beautiful drawing of a paper bag, which who wants a drawing of a paper bag? Probably not many people, but it will be great practice for line variation. And you'll probably be amazed at what results from it. Um, I find a lot of beauty in a carefully done pencil drawing. So just using line, not shading or anything else. So um, this will be a good little test of that. But you see, I'm finding the spots where the creases come together, and uh, I'm starting dark and I'm fading out. So tomorrow we're going to do some work on pencil pressure and how to get good at varying that. That's the line variation thing. And we're going to kind of work on pencil pressure and how to uh, vary that well. It's not difficult at all, but you may not have used this technique a ton in the past, and it's a great skill to develop for drawing. So yeah, I'm working my way around this bag here, and I'm adding the creases, and then like I said, where creases come together, there's a crease coming to the side up at the top, a couple of them up at the top there. It's real dark right at the point where they all intersect. And then I fade the line, I vary it out lighter as it gets away from those creases. And it just conveys this kind of energy that's compressed and tight and full, where like tightened up where the creases come together, and then that kind of expanding and relaxing of the energy and the weight of things, where there aren't many lines coming together, where it's uh, not much happening. So it really, using no shading, it makes for a very realistic drawing of a bag. I'd be surprised if someone didn't know what it was when you get done. It's using the same principle that we used with the pop can yesterday, where the lines are tight and close together. We are dark and heavy, and then where the lines kind of expand, or where the volume of the can was pushing out. That's how my art professor described it. Where is it contracting and tight, and where is it pushing out? Where it's pushing out, you're going to use very light, thin lines, and where it's contracting, where it's coming together, it's kind of tightening up or contracting, and that's where the line kind of gets bunched up and dark and heavy, and where the the bag not much is happening. It's we don't need to add that information either, so it kind of has a, like, where do you need information kind of thing. And you don't need it where there's just a straight line going straight, but where there's stuff coming together. Careful attention to that is what this does. That's what it draws it to. And can you kind of see coming together this bag, how the different lines? Here's another fun reason that this exercise is so fun. Uh, you really can't do a bad job. Like a crinkle up bag, like, who's gonna say, like, well, that doesn't look like the, unless you show them the bag you did, or a photo of it, who's gonna say, like, that doesn't look like the bag that was in front of you? It's one of those drawings where you can kind of let go of, oh, a little bit of the accuracy. I don't really want you to do that, but you can. You don't. It's kind of separating out the line variation variable from uh, from making sure it looks like the exact bag that you had. It's a little hard to do with a pop can. People pretty much recognize right away that that's a pop can, and so then they judge your accuracy more by the shape of the pop can than the line variation. This is really hard for you know it to look wrong, if you will. We might know if we didn't do a very good job of drawing the bag in front of us. We might know, but it's less hard to be judged by that. And then, yes, I'm just gonna kind of remember where the bag is on the bottom, where it's sitting. Your bottom edge, you always want that a little heavier, and I don't think I did that good of a job going heavier with my line variation just because it's on the bottom, but you should do that too. The top is lighter, it's higher up, there's no weight on it. At the bottom of an object, there's weight, and it's sitting on something, and just giving that some extra weight, some darkness, uh, is is something you can do. Um, I'm under the impression, based on a lot of drawings I see people do, that a lot of people were never taught this, and I'm very grateful that my art professor was so adamant on kind of not letting us shade and forcing us to draw the object and convey the all the qualities of an object without shading first, to kind of that weight and that texture and that all those things. Just wait, I'm gonna talk to you about some other things that are probably gonna drive you nuts, or else, or at least deconstruct the way you've done drawings in the past. But just kind of wrapping this up. When you go to do it, just stay at it and work at it. You'll probably be surprised. I was halfway done with this one in the airplane, thinking, I'm not sure this is going to work too well, and with a barf bag and on an airplane here. But I don't think it turned out all that bad. I think it looks like, now I'm darkening up that bottom edge here a little bit to kind of give it some weight. And now I think I'm going to sign it. Person next to me was like, I think, kind of trying to take photos of what I was doing, or video or something. They got quiet and I kept seeing their phone kind of come over. So who knows what they were doing. But I I I felt a little self-conscious, so I kind of wrapped it up quickly. But yes, that's your assignment for today, to work on that. And there we go. I'll wrap this up and give you some instruction for you doing it. Well, there you go. One of my favorite types of little drawings to do, and I'm sure you did great. If you put in the effort, even if it was frustrating, even if it was hard to do it, I am proud of you for showing up and putting the work in. I will see you tomorrow. We're going to build on this thing, and I'm love drawing with you.